Hello everyone. Graduated neutral density filters can be a valuable tool to help you get the most out of your landscape and seascape photos. And I thought I'd share what I know about them as I sit beside the ocean at Cape Spear, Newfoundland, where we can both be serenaded by the waves. My name is Brian Carey. Welcome to Photography and the Creative View. So what is a graduated neutral density filter? Well, the neutral part refers to the fact there will be no adjustment or correction or change in color. The only thing affected will be exposure. And graduated means there will be a varying effect on exposure. So in this case, I have a two-stop filter here. So at the bottom, there will be zero effect on exposure. And up here, the exposure will be reduced by 2 stops. Let's talk about the ratings of ND filters or graduated ND filters. They're rated by stops, so a 0.3 ND filter or grad ND will have 1 stop of attenuation, a 0.6 will have a 2 stop, a 0.9 will have a 3, and a 1.2 will have a 4 stop adjustment. And it's also important to remember that you can stack these filters, so I can take, say, in this case, I can take, this is one, it's a 2 stop, it's a 0.6. I can take another one. This one is a 0.9, and if I stack them, I have 5 stops. So 0.6 is 2 stops, 0.9 is 3 stops. So I'll have 5 stops attenuation on top and 0 on the bottom. And I can also adjust these filters up and down in front of the lens to get a varying effect there. So I got much more control over my scene, the exposure of my scene. This is a great thing when you're shooting sunrise and sunset, because what you can do, you can use the top part to control the intensity of the sunset. You may be able to keep detail in the sun, but at the same time, these filters will allow you to keep some detail or to show some detail in the shadows. These filters can come in a variety of styles and shapes. Some are screw-on. You can also have square filters or rectangular. And the ones I have here are, these are 100 millimeter by 150 millimeter. And I have a smaller one here somewhere. There they are. And these ones are 85 by 110 millimeter. This one here. This is a 1.2 hard split. And what the split refers to, some people call them edges. They call them soft edge, they call them hard edge. Normally I call them soft split and hard split. So this one in the center, it has basically, the transition is sudden and abrupt. It's a quick transition. Whereas in other filters, a soft split filter, I'll compare that to a 6-stop soft split. And the transition on the 6-stop soft split, so the soft split right here is much softer. So up at the top we have 0.6 attenuation, at the bottom we have 0. So this one is a 4-stop, it's a 1.2 hard split ND grad. And so what we have it's clear on the bottom, so there's no effect on exposure, whereas at top we have a 4-stop. And these are really good when shooting horizons, but you want to have the horizon straight across this line here. Graduated ND filters come in a variety of shapes and sizes. You can get the screw-on kind, and the screw-on kind, this is just a regular ND, but I'll just use it for demo purposes. With a screw-on graduated filter, the transition will be in the center. So when you screw this on your lens, you have no control over where the graduation is. And the same thing with square filters. Once you put them on your camera, you have very little adjustment to move them back and forth. So, but that's not the case with the rectangular filters. With the rectangular filters, so I can put this on the front of my lens, on my holder, and I can bring it up, and I can bring it down. I can move my transition where I want it for the best, for the result I want. There are a number of companies to make filter holders. Lee makes them, Koken makes them. So with these filter holders, you have an adapter ring, and you would screw it on your lens, and you pop your filter back on, and you would slide your filter in here. You would adjust your filter up and down to get the effect you want. These come with a variety of adapter rings. So it's one filter with different adapter rings. So we just pop out the adapter ring. I'll screw that on there. I had it backwards. And I'll put my filter holder back on. And there we have it. Put my filter in here. And I can adjust it up and down so I can get the transition, and I can control the exposure where I want to control it. So, which filter do I use most? I use actually a reverse ND grad, and that's a little different from the ones I've shown you. I'll just show you both just to compare them. So with a regular ND grad, the graduation begins towards the center. It gets and it gets darker and darker and darker, and you have much more exposure control or attenuation up here. With a reverse ND grad, the transition comes the other way. It comes down, and you have more attenuation or more exposure control towards the center. And this is great for things like sunrises and sunsets, because what I can do, I can put my horizon somewhere near the center of the filter. That's where you want to control the exposure here. And if I can just control the exposure here, and the clear part will allow me to get some detail in the foreground, in the shadows, for example. So now I'm going to sit back a bit, listen to the ocean, and breathe some of that beautiful Newfoundland air. And if you got any ideas, comments, or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching.